Good morning, friends. Welcome back to the little farm here. We're craving something sweet, and I don't really have anything made up right now. So I got to thinking I wanted to maybe make some of my Grandma Irene's butter rolls. Haven't made them in years. So we're going to roll out the recipe for you and show you how to do it. Now this is a photo of my mom's family. This is my grandma, Irene Thomas. My mom's maiden name was Thomas. And this is their family. This is my Aunt Ernestine here. It's my Uncle Mervyn. It's my Aunt Lorraine. My Aunt Patsy. My Uncle Donald. My Grandpa Henry. And my mom, Donna. Mom is the only one that is still alive in this family. Now that family, along with a lot of other family on Mom's side, came from Oklahoma years ago in the Dust Bowl era. And if you've ever seen the movie The Grapes of Wrath, a really good movie by John Steinbeck, that was basically my mom's family. The movie wasn't about them, but that whole type of scenario, that's what they lived in back in the day, and that's what they lived through. Now these butter rolls go way back. My grandma used to make them, and the recipe was kind of lost. And my mom and I kind of put the recipe back together and were able to make them. Now, we call these butter rolls because they're not really cinnamon rolls. They're not a risen dough like cinnamon rolls are. And they don't really come out like cinnamon rolls, even though the process is kind of similar. These rolls are kind of cooked in milk in a pan in the oven, and the texture is completely different when they come out. So without further ado, let's get into this recipe. So to our mixing bowl, we've added 2 cups of all-purpose flour, 1/3 a cup of sugar, 2 teaspoons of baking powder, not baking soda. So sort of like biscuits, they have baking powder in them. We've got 1/2 teaspoon of salt as well. And that's all of our dry ingredients, and we're going to stir this together. We've got our dry mixture stirred up. The next thing we did, we got 3/4 of a cup of our really hot tap water. And to that, you want to add 3 tablespoons of shortening. I've used Kelly's coconut oil, which hardens like shortening. Or you could use butter. I'm sure you could use lard or tallow. Whatever you have will work in this dish. And we've kind of melted that into our hot tap water. We're going to pour that right into our dry mix. And then we're going to stir that well until it comes together. Our dough has came together. We've mixed it well, so all the ingredients are very well incorporated. It's a kind of a sticky dough, but that's fine. So we're going to flour our clean table here, and then we're going to roll out our dough into a rectangle, just like you would do with cinnamon rolls. Got our dough out onto our floured countertop. We just kind of pressed it into a rectangle with our fingers. So now we're going to get the rolling pin after it, make it a little bit bigger. Okay, got it all the way out into a square, probably, I don't know, 14 by 20, something like that. So we're going to take a whole stick of butter. This is probably why they're called butter rolls. It's softened butter, and we're going to spread that all over this dough. Our butter is spread around. Now we're going to get some cinnamon. We'll probably get about, I'm guessing, about 1 teaspoon of cinnamon to spread over all of this. Cinnamon is on. Now we're going to get out the brown sugar. About, I would say, 6 tablespoons of brown sugar all over this. Brown sugar has been applied, so now we're going to roll it up as you would cinnamon rolls. Pat down our cinnamon a little, or sugar a little bit if it's in a little pile. And then on the ends, we're just going to start rolling this up. You want it as tight as you can roll it. Just work your way across. pretty simple operation. If it gets a little thin in a couple areas, and don't worry about that, it's going to be just fine. Square my ends up a little bit. We'll pick up that back corner, make sure it's off of the table. Now we can bring it back here a little bit. So we need 16 pieces of this. So we get like our scraper knife here. So to even number pieces, we'll start in the middle, we'll cut it in half. And then we'll cut it in half again each side. That gives us 8 pieces, right? Oh, excuse me, 4. So half again, that gives us 8. And then half again, it gives us 16. There we go. Now we're going to get out an 8x8 dish. Okay, before you get going, preheat your oven to 375 degrees, which we've already set it. So we're going to start placing our pieces in the pan. We want 4 this way, 4 this way, to a total of 16 in the bottom. As you pick them up, just kind of make them round again. And then I always put the end that's loose next to the one next to it. That way it keeps it from unraveling. Just like that. And then we can start our next run here. And these are going to rise a little bit because of that baking powder in the mix. We always turn the end pieces upside down so you got the good side up. So that looks pretty good. Now if you find out you've got big spaces in the pan, you can press them down a little bit to where they're all about the same height, and that evens them out. So let's get the next step going. Next thing we got to do is we have a tablespoon of just regular granulated sugar, and to that we're adding a 5-ounce can of evaporated milk. It's not sweetened condensed milk, it's just evaporated milk, unsweetened. And then a teaspoon of vanilla. We're just going to finish that jar off in there. And then you want to add enough water to bring this up to exactly 1 cup. Now we're going to stir this up until that sugar is dissolved in the bottom. Sounds like we're pretty good. So let's get our rolls back over here. So we're going to take this milk mixture, we're going to pour it in over the top of our rolls. And you want it to come just to the top like we did here. That's perfect. So now we're going to get these babies in the oven. Our oven is up to temperature, so we're going to put them here on the middle rack. They're going to take around 30 minutes. We're going to come in and check them around 20. Now, when these are done, you don't want them to be dry. You want them to have some liquid in them still, to be almost a little soupy, because you want that nice moisture in there. Now, I've had these rolls a bunch of different ways because it really depends on what you have in the house when you're poor. If you don't have brown sugar, you can just use granulated sugar. If you don't have cinnamon, you can just leave that out too. I've had this many times with just the sugar, and the milk is fine. Tastes good, still tastes fine. This is what it looks like at 20 minutes. I would venture to say that this is done, so we're going to pull it out. All right, they look pretty good. You do not want all the moisture to cook out of them, and that moisture is going to soak into those rolls now and make them really nice and creamy, gooey goodness. Now, Mom, she would sprinkle the top with a little sugar, and since I'm taking a few of these to Mom, I'll do it her way. About like that. We'll come back after these are cool and we'll take one for a spin. All right, folks, we've let them cool off. They've absorbed the moisture in the pan. Take a look at them. They're just gorgeous. Let's get a bite out of one of these. Just like I remember. Very yummy. They're not as big and fluffy as like a cinnamon roll. It's more like like a cinnamon biscuit almost, is the best way to describe it. But super yummy. Brings back memories of my grandma. Can't stop eating them. Let me finish this one. Okay, very tasty. Now, if you like them a little less liquid in them, you just cook them a little bit longer, 25, 30 minutes, but don't go over 30. But I like them just like this. Now, these will harden a little bit as they get cool because the butter and everything will get hard again. Put them in a bowl, microwave them for like 20 seconds, and you're back to that warm, yummy goodness. Okay, folks, I hope you enjoyed my grandma's recipe here. Really brings back good memories for me of her. So we love you guys. We want you to stay safe and stay healthy till the next time we see you. Come back to Markelly Farms. We'll have some more stuff for you.